crash reported a ditch with traffic jam past Meridian 31. Northwest side, northbound 465, stop and go from 86th Street up to 865. Crash on the east side. This is Washington at Arlington Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler's workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come check us out at your nearby store. Our engagement rings are made with love from our hands to yours, because a friend knows your love deserves the highest quality. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela of Michaelis. If you have water damage, why should you call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. On call 24/7, 365. We are IICRC certified and will restore your space to pre-loss condition or better. And we work through the entire insurance process on your behalf to make it easy.
Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 50% off plus a free patio door.
Because at B-Window, we mean business.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Douglas Mini Splits dealer.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
For today, mostly sunny and warm. High temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, mostly clear skies, become partly cloudy. Low temperatures in the lower 60s. On Wish TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morris for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level on the go and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Boy, can I spot him or can I spot him?
You're pretty good at that, huh?
You know, we told this story before that one of the things I'm pretty good at is sizing people up. You give me about 15 minutes with you.
Yeah.
And I can pretty much tell you exactly what's going on here.
This without asking any questions.
Well, I mean, that's what I said. I need the 15 minutes.
It's amazing talent.
This case, I didn't have a person-to-person interaction. I just could read enough stuff over time, and I put about 15 minutes worth of effort into it, reading the stuff. And I knew exactly what was going on with this broad, Casey.
15 minutes worth of effort. That's kind of how you would describe your contribution to this radio show.
Oh, okay, that's where you were going. I didn't know where you were going with that.
Oh, no, to the radio show, Rob. It's a family program.
It's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. And boy, howdy, were we spot on this dirtball Jennifer Ruth Green. That Inspector General's investigation is now out. And, she allegedly was playing fast and loose with a lot of the rules, Case.
Yeah, and so now we've got this full report, and she is under an ethics
cloud.
A cloud
of scrutiny / potential scandal.
Now it's now up to the State Ethics Commission to decide whether she violated state law and what, if any, sanctions will be.
Okay, so let's reset who this woman is and why this matters, because this Jennifer Ruth Green story it's one of those stories where there's the thing that's happening and then there's the tentacles of the thing. And the tentacles are really the stuff you need to pay attention to. So, and again, most of you are fully aware because you are the most informed audience in the entire land. But for those of you who are new, maybe we're on vacation last week, we have new people coming in and out all the time. Just indulge me for just a quick moment as we remind you who this failed former congressional candidate is. Because that's what Jennifer Ruth Green was an idea. She's just the perfect political imagery in which all she was some idea and sales pitch, and the reality was a giant turd. So Jennifer Ruth Green ran for Congress in 2022, and she was the new chosen golden girl. She ran in the 1st Congressional District, which is Northwest Indiana, the region, and despite all the huffing and puffing about what a great candidate she was and how compelling her story was, and she was the future of the Indiana Republican Party, she lost. L-O-S-T, lost, as in the TV show, as in once I was lost and now I am found. And as a result of that, she did what most people, many people in the government or who desire to be in government do. They failed upwards.
Yeah.
She was rejected by the voters, somewhat resoundingly. It turned out the idea of her wasn't nearly as impressive as the reality of her. But instead of letting her just drift quietly into the sunset, the Republican Party said, no. If we keep shoving you down people's throats, they might see past all of the highly obvious flaws to any of us who are paying attention. And so the Braun administration gave her this cushy $275,000 job as the public safety secretary. Now, Braun's claim on Hammer and Nigel about why he picked her was she had some background in cybersecurity. Well, you know who else has a background in cybersecurity, Casey?
Who?
My wife. And she wasn't in the conversation. And if that's all you had to have, there were a lot of people who were a hell of a lot more qualified than her because she wasn't picked because of her qualifications. She was picked because they wanted to keep this facade of being some sort of next great Republican leader going, and the best way to do that was to put her in this position of influence, of power, and notoriety, where they could keep her name out there until the next chosen thing that she wanted to run for, she was picked to run for. The problem is, she was so unqualified, as some of us tried to say, and was so self-absorbed and had such self-indulgence, I guess is the right word, that she couldn't contain herself even for a few months, and basically as soon as she got into the position, started playing fast and loose with the rules, allegedly, in a variety of areas, which led to a wide-ranging investigation from the Inspector General, which ultimately resulted in her resignation. What was that? I guess it was a week ago Friday.
Correct.
Did I sum it up?
You got it. A couple points I'd like to add. Your wife never ran for Congress.
That's
and
right.
your wife is married to you.
She's never lost a congressional race.
Couple reasons why maybe the Braun administration did not
Congressional
look her way.
races lost. Jennifer Ruth Green 1, Gabrielle Kendall 0.
So some of the allegations now include ghost employment, which is a felony in Indiana, and also misuse of state property.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, the Capitol Chronicle, don't I get to say I broke the story? I mean, I said it first, right? I didn't say it in great detail.
Yeah.
But I said all the things.
Photo finish. You did say it first.
I was first.
Okay.
Now, they did a lot more work on it than I did because I knew. So
They did fill in some of the details.
I broke the story first that this was going down, that this lady, what was that, why she resigned, what was actually going down. I was told by my sources, hey, a couple of news agencies are working on this story. And I said, well, if they're working on it, they're going to fill in all the details. I don't need to go to all this effort. These sources were A-plus sources who have been very good to me over the years. So I was like, I'm going with this. And I was spot on about exactly what was going on. Now, the Capitol Chronicle, since then, so I get to say, since I broke the story, the Capitol Chronicle, Indiana Capitol Chronicle, has done a phenomenal job of researching all of the details and getting information out about this Inspector General's report, which is very damaging on a variety of issues. You can read the whole thing over at IndianaCapitolChronicle.com. But now you're right, Casey. Now the Ethics Commission has to decide what they're going to do with her, because just because you quit, which she did, and by the way, don't forget what she tried to do when she quit. She tried to sell it like, oh, I've got some military obligation.
Yeah.
Posted that photo of herself in her military garb, which the reality was that was a long scheduled planned National Guard week or 2 week or whatever it was endeavor that would have no way affected her job if she didn't want it to. And don't forget Braun trying to cover it up.
Yeah, I thanked her.
Yeah. When she skedoodled out, when she was voluntold that she was going to be skedoodling out the door on Friday, Braun put out this big thing, and at no point was he like, yeah, this lady was a dumpster fire, one alleged scandal after another, we had reached the up for which we could not stand, we gave her every chance we had to get her. No, he tried to act like she was some integral part of the team, hoping like a Scooby-Doo episode, he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for the Kendall and Casey show and the Indiana Capital Chronicle.
So let's talk about some of the details of the allegations. Political activity on state time. They're not allowed to do that, right? She directed some of her staff to create...
Wait.
Political activity on state time.
Political activity on state time. Say it one more time, Case, because there's some people who still in the State House may not have grasped this. Say that again one more time.
Political activity on state time.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
Explain what political activity on state time means.
It means, okay, so there is a, why don't we take a break?
No.
Because we got to tell you, get into why this stuff that's going on with her is important. It's far bigger than her just being an unqualified buffoon and getting exposed. There's several things going on with this that you need to pay attention to. And I will explain what political activity on state time is, because I think there's some people down the street who still don't get it.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
You know, there aren't enough great Americans in this world, but one person who is a fabulous American and Hoosier is our friend Mark Dietel. You know, Zillow ranks Indianapolis #2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with our pal, Mark Dietel. Perhaps you're worried you'll need costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Luke and Emma in Franklin had to say about working with Mark Dietel. We began building our new dream home, and we needed to sell our old place at a great price to pay for it. The Mark Dietel team made it easy with multiple offers in the first weekend and closed in 25 days at the price we wanted. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Take the work out of fall cleanup this year at Quality Supply and Tool, where there's a huge Milwaukee Power Tool sale going on until November 2nd while supplies last. Buy the M18 Fuel Edger, hedge trimmer, pole saw, or pruning shears, and get the M18 Red Lithium XE5 battery free. That's a $169 value. Quality Supply and Tool also has big savings on M18 Fuel handheld and backpack blowers, plus 16 and 20-inch battery chainsaws. With locations in Jeffersonville, Bloomington, Lafayette, and South Harding Street in Indy, Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box store.
Comprehensive cancer care is not just about treating cancer. It's caring for the person behind the diagnosis. It's our team by your side to listen, connect, and encourage, and to celebrate every milestone together. Because at Franciscan Health, your journey is our journey. Your victory is our victory. Your hope and trust in us to provide extraordinary cancer care with the latest advancements, plus a little extra TLC, is our mission. Learn more at franciscanhealth.org/cancercare.
Make this Christmas unforgettable with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, The Best of TSO, and more. A fusion of rock and classical with a heartwarming Christmas tale. December 4th, Cambridge Fieldhouse. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss this season's most exciting concert experience. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert.
Guys, it's game on at Synergen X and Low T Center, your TRT MVPs.
Book a free TRT consultation and automatically enter for a chance to win autographed sports memorabilia, tickets, and more. Female patients, you can win too. Book at trtmvp.com.
Heat and cool places where ductwork won't fit using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits. You can even wrap them to match your decor.
Find out more at absolutecomfort.org.
We had that intense debate about what Mellencamp is saying.
Yes.
In this
sport.
Spoke.
Sport.
Spote. It's a spote, right? Isn't that what we determined?
Well, I thought
saying
the
was
official
spote was a spote.
Right, but I think the official ruling was that it was a sport.
No, okay, for those of you know, it's Kendall Casey, so I'm Rob, that's Casey. We have to stay on the Jennifer Ruth Green stuff, but before we do this.
Okay.
So, this was several months ago.
Yeah.
We got on a heated debate. I think Hammer was in here with us, too, on this, about what Mellencamp is saying. There's a line in the song, and people have no idea what he's saying, and it became an intense debate. And I had to call my dear friend Troy Kennett, who plays keys for Mellencamp. He was actually listening to the show, and he told me, I thought he said it was a spote, right?
Yeah, but the actual word was sport.
Oh.
But he does kind of say
I don't even
spote.
remember what we came up with. See, that's how it...
But it was an intense debate.
It was. And people were all over the YouTube chat and everything.
Everybody had an opinion on that one.
Okay, it's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. We're continuing a conversation about Jennifer Ruth Green, the now, do we call her disgraced? I mean, if you quit because of a pending damaging inspector general investigation, what level do you have to achieve to be disgraced, Casey, in terms of public scrutiny?
Walking away in shame?
I mean, because she quit because clearly this thing, the hammer was coming down.
Yeah.
So is that disgraced?
Did she quit or was she given the choice? Like you?
No, she was. I was told by the same people who gave me the info that broke the story. She was voluntold.
Okay.
You're youts.
This is a forced quitting.
Yeah. You decide how you'd like to.
You will no longer be here. You won't be here Monday. So how's it going to go down?
So anyway, she obviously quits because there's this damaging Inspector General's investigation. Inspector General, plural, investigation. No, apostrophe S. Inspector General's apostrophe
it's Inspectors
S.
General.
No, I think it's Inspector General.
Well, it is Inspector General.
So if it's their investigation, it'd be Inspector General apostrophe S.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
You're not talking about plural Inspectors General.
No. Singular.
The Inspector Generals.
My mother was a high school English teacher, so don't try to get cute with me on the proper verbiage, Casey. So she skedoodles on out the door, and one of the things that in the accusations is that her staff was being instructed to do political activity on state time.
Yeah, directed staff to create content for her Elect Jennifer Ruth Green campaign Facebook page. Also instructed her staff to proofread posts. There were other things, like she held a political meeting with a National Republican Congressional Committee official in a state conference room during work hours.
Well, there's also allegations of sexual harassment with other employees and unwanted touching, and there's all sorts of allegations about. Now, who knows what the ethics committee will actually find, and once the full details on all this get released. Again, everything's just an allegation at this point. And obviously, the Inspector General's report is very damaging, but maybe she'll have some great defense that the Inspector General was out to get her, and maybe Ben Matlock will give a riveting oral presentation on her behalf, and we'll find out it was all fraud. But anyway, there are all sorts of allegations going on related to this out there. Anyway, you had asked, what is political activity on state time? Okay, so when you go work in the State House, you're not working for a political candidate, you're working for an office holder. Now, a lot of these office holders do naturally, especially the statewide people, lots of political events, right? In the evenings, the Lincoln Day dinners, going to speak to various political young Republicans, blah blah blah, right? Fundraisers, etc. And one of the jobs of the office in whatever event a office holder does is to make a clear determination: is this political or is this related to the office? So I'm just going to take somebody. I'm not saying they've done anything wrong. I'm just the first name popped in my head. Daniel Elliott, the state treasurer. Let's say he goes and talks to the Greenwood Rotary Club. And he's going there and he is talking about the office of the state treasurer. He's talking about, here's the things we've done. Here's the different initiatives we've invested our state money in. Here's how we made it sort of secure, blah, blah, blah. That's clearly all about the office. He's informing you about the actual function of the taxpayer-funded office. He's not saying vote for me. He's not giving a political speech. So you could have a state employee that could go with him to that event, a driver, scheduler, whatever. Speaking of drivers.
Sorry.
Is that the important person? You have different ringtones. Did you?
I'm sorry.
Is that based on who it is? Is it like?
Well, yeah, that was a call versus a text.
Oh,
sorry, I forgot to turn my ringer off.
Anyway,
how unprofessional.
So you could have a state employee that would go with him to that event, and there's no problem with that. It's an official office function. Now, if Daniel Elliott is the keynote speaker at the Clay County Lincoln Day, and he mandates that Junior's got to go with him to that, and Junior's like, I don't want to go to that, and it's on state time, like if it's something in the middle of the day, then that is political activity on state time, which is specifically prohibited.
Correct. And that's what she is being alleged to have done.
Now, let me follow up with that. That if you mark it on your timesheet that you were working for the state. Now, you could say, 3 weeks from now, Daniel Elliott's going to be delivering the keynote address at the Clay County, Republican Women's Lunch at noon. You can block that time off, and you can go do that as long as you don't use, state resources, et cetera. As a state employee, if you are a huge fan of his, now that's where it gets a little, shaky, right? But you can do that as long as you're not on state time, as long as you're not getting paid to do an event, a political event on state time, you're in the clear. However, it appears based on these allegations, she was having people do political work, or allegedly was having people do political work, according to this Inspector General's allegation, investigation on state time, and that's a no-no.
It's also being said that she used her state vehicle for personal errands. Now, I thought once they were given a state vehicle, you can use it for whatever you need.
Well, again, some people better be better up on the rules than we are, because we don't got a state vehicle.
Yeah.
But I think there is clear delineation between outwardly personal and, again,
traveling to a function.
We need some sort of state.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example.
That's why they're the IOG and you're a broadcaster.
For example, having worked in a statewide office, I know that when the statewide office holder was driving the vehicle to and from work, that was allowed. Although I believe if they were doing some sort of weekend something or other, they had to mark the mileage down. Now, I don't know if that's changed. I've obviously been out of state government for a decade now, so I don't know if it's changed. But clearly something was amiss, because that's in the report. Here's what I want to remind everybody, though, and then we'll get off this, and then we'll go to Dirty Diego, because he's back in the news. And Kev, get the Dirty Diego theme song ready to go. This is the sort of woman that the Republicans want you to believe are worth rigging our election maps further for. People like Jennifer Ruth Green are the sort of people who the Republican Party will push in whatever primary and whatever new map they draw. So my question to you is, if you're all on board with further gerrymandering, rigging, whatever word you want to use these maps, are you really willing to give up honesty and integrity for people like this woman? What good is having another one of her in Washington, D.C. going to do for you? How would having her, what is coming out about her and how she handled herself allegedly, how is that going to, having that person in Washington, D.C., and we'll get into this because Jim Banks was super gross over the weekend, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. But how is having this person or these types of people in Washington, what are you willing to give up for this? What are you going to get out of her being there?
So the next step with Jennifer Ruth Green is a public meeting before the State Ethics Commission where the Inspector General is going to present evidence, and Green will have an opportunity to respond, and then it's up to the commissioners to decide whether the allegations constitute violations of ethics code and then what will happen afterwards. So this isn't over.
Oh, no. And there are many tentacles to this, and we'll keep you up to date as the story unfolds. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, our old pal, the Indiana Secretary of State, old Dirty Diego Morales, he used a whole bunch of your money to find one guy.
Mm-hmm.
He found one.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
What's up, Indy? Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Now is the best time of the year to buy new windows. Whether you have old, drafty windows or cheap builder-grade ones, September is the perfect month to protect your home from cooler weather. And right now, Window Nation is offering their most popular offer. Buy 2 replacement windows, get 2 for free. Plus, no interest, no monthly payments, no down payments for 2 years.
And did I mention their installation crews can replace a house full of windows in 1 day or less? With Window Nation, you get top quality windows from a trusted company, all at a reasonable price because they know replacing windows is an investment and they want to make it affordable for you. Don't miss Window Nation's most popular offer. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. And remember, you'll pay nothing for 2 years. Hurry, Indy, you need to hurry because this sale won't last forever. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to get that free quote.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Is he speaking? It's sunny and 68 in downtown Indy. Highs today in the mid to upper 80s. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet. The 22-year-old man accused of fatally shooting conservative activist Charlie Kirk on Utah Valley University's campus last week is reportedly not cooperating with authorities. FBI Director Kash Patel joins Fox and Friends, saying those around him are cooperating, adding they have reason to believe the attack was politically motivated.
His family has collectively told investigators that he subscribed to left-wing ideology, and even more so in these last couple of years.
Robinson was reportedly raised in a conservative family, and his parents are registered Republicans, although Robinson himself did not have a party affiliation or voting record. He faces accusations of aggravated murder among other felony charges and is set to appear in court Tuesday. Vice President J.D. Vance is planning to host Charlie Kirk's podcast today. The Trump administration touting the federal takeover of Washington, D.C.'s police department as a success and now plans to bring it to another city.
President Trump has been touting the federal law enforcement surge in D.C. He says a similar operation would benefit other cities across the country despite pushback from local officials. Memphis Mayor Paul Young says he had talked to the state's governor last week, so he had been anticipating more federal resources like the FBI, DEA, and ATF. They had touched on the possibility of the National Guard coming too, but he did not know the final word until the president broke the news on Fox and Friends. Memphis has struggled with high crime rates and homicide numbers, but Young says crime has recently dropped.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. As with other cities targeted by the president's campaign, Memphis has seen falling crime, with law enforcement last week noting overall crime was near a 25-year low across multiple major categories. And New York Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul is formally endorsing Democratic nominee for mayor Zohran Mamdani, who is a Democratic socialist. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. Stocks rising. The Dow's up 85 points to 45,834. The S&P 500 also in the green, 21 points, 6,584. And the NASDAQ up 62 points to 24,092. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
It's the start of our favorite season here in Indy, football season. That's right, with all the hype and action this season brings, we know things can get loud and messy real quick. Before you invite your friends and family over to watch the games, you better call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to clean up all those fumble moments in your home. And lucky for you, you can score big this month with great savings. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning too. The Zero Res service is easy to line up, and you can go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. And don't forget the ZR water difference. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, leaving things really clean. Now mention WIBC and you'll get 3 rooms cleaned by the Zero Res Pro starting at just $129. $129! Plus $75 off duct cleaning too. 317-388-5141. Online at ZeroResIndy.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Pat Sullivan here for Gutter Helmet. Are you still putting screens on your gutters? You know, if the holes are too big, debris gets in and you're still cleaning your gutters. If the holes are too small, it sits on top and now you're cleaning the screens. I have Gutter Helmet on my home and it has no holes, slots, or screens. It keeps the debris out and the water in. Since 1981, Gutter Helmet has been America's #1 choice for gutter protection. Right now, Gutter Helmet is offering a 17% discount plus 12 months no interest financing if paid in full within 12 months. Call 800-5HELMET, that's 800-5HELMET, to schedule a free estimate. 17% off, restrictions apply, and cannot be combined with other offers. Call Gutter Helmet today at 800-5HELMET, that's 800-5HELMET, or gutterhelmetindy.com, and never clean your gutters again.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now at 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. That's 800-810-1820.
Dirty Diego, oh, Dirty Diego, oh, Dirty Diego, oh,
It's time,
Dirty
Casey.
Diego.
That's the sound.
It's always an audience favorite. Where we
Stylings of Jerry Lopez.
take the largest dump imaginable all over the Indiana Secretary of State, Diego Morales, because he totally deserves it. It's the Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. Yes, for most of you are aware, but Diego Morales, Indiana Secretary of State, at best, highly unethical individual, at worst, completely and utterly corrupt. And the fact that he has access to your and millions of other people's personal information and their business documentation is beyond scary. So we take every opportunity to point out on this program how ridiculous this guy actually is. And the lesson of the story we're about to talk about is if you've actually solved the problem, you can't grift off claiming to solve the problem. And in the state of Indiana, the Republicans inadvertently proved exactly what we've been telling you for years on this program, which is because we have voter identification and our election machines are not hooked up to the internet, our elections are by and large extremely secure.
Okay, so the Indiana Secretary of State's office said on Friday that a Vigo County man is being investigated for allegedly voting without being a U.S. citizen.
There's 7 million people in this state. They found a guy.
Indiana has 4.8 million registered voters. Turnout varies depending on what the election cycle is. I believe the last election, we were at 62%. Still one of the lowest in the country at 62%.
They found one guy, Casey.
But I want to say if he's rooting out corruption, hasn't he done that by finding the one guy? Jim Banks commented on it. He said, I'm glad they caught it.
Okay, first of all, if he wants to root out corruption, he can start with himself by telling us who paid, he being Diego Morales, who paid for his mysterious 10-day trip to India. If you want to tell us about corruption, Diego, you want to tell us about rooting out corruption, start by telling us who paid for your trip to India and showing us proof you paid it back. Now, On to this. They are acting as though it was the Saddam Hussein press conference when they pulled him out of the hole. We got him! You found one guy? You found a person. How much money, how much taxpayer money did we spend to find a guy? One. And nobody's accusing this guy of being a part of some broader scheme to overthrow the Vigo County elections. Nobody's accusing this guy of being part of some sort of orchestrated cabal to alter elections in the greater Terre Haute area. No, it's one guy. One dude, which again proves what I've been saying. As long as you have the voter ID and as long as the machines aren't hooked up to the internet, the elections are by and large going to be secure. But you can't fundraise off of it. You can't get people all ginned up, and you can't distract from the problems you aren't solving unless you keep creating non-existent problems which you're claiming to solve.
So the man was holding a Mexican passport, and he allegedly voted in 6 Indiana elections since registering at the BMV in 2018.
So I want to come back to how much money did we spend to do this? Because we as a state claim we have no money, which is why we claim we had to raise taxes by $1 billion. $1 billion in new taxes. That's on top of the other taxes, which are just completely the gas tax, the wheel tax, the property tax, all these other taxes that are totally out of control. New taxes. We had to enact $1 billion of new taxes. And for what? To get one guy? Let's just say of these remaining people that are out there, that they're still sifting through. By and large, almost every one of these people that they were concerned about are indeed citizens. They just had a paperwork issue or whatever. But let's just say there's 10 of them. Let's say of the remaining people they're still looking into, they can get 10. That's where our money's going?
Well, that's the question. If they found one, are there going to be more out there?
But I would say the answer is no. If out of 4.8 mil, they found one so far, and they've been at it for how long, and they had to hold a press conference for this guy. Again, they're acting like Dr. Richard Kimball has been apprehended here, Casey.
So at this point, no charges have been filed. And the individual's name has not yet been released either.
Oh, we got him.
The case has been referred to local law enforcement, Indiana State Police, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the FBI.
Okay, so, but again, maybe this guy is a part of the cartels. I highly doubt, though, that if he's on some super secret mission from a foreign government,
he's voting.
He would be to vote in our elections. But my point on all of this is our lawmakers and our elected people cannot solve any real problems. Look at what happens every single year when these people in the legislative session meet. Everything gets more expensive, your taxes go up, life gets harder. They aren't willing to tackle the real problems because that would involve them having to go at their donor and lobbyist friends who cut the big checks to ensure that they stay in office. So if they're not going to do the real work, then they've got to invent work and try to fool you into thinking, oh my gosh, there's all these illegals that are throwing. My question to the Republicans would be, if the illegals are throwing the elections, then they're throwing them in your favor because you guys have all the positions. You have all the power. Who are all these illegal people and why are they voting Republican? That would be my question to those people.
Diego Morales said, our Secretary of State said, this case is proof that non-citizens have voted in Indiana. He went on to say, my biggest accomplishment is requesting proof of citizenship.
We already have voter ID. The voter ID is supposed to be the check on the proof of citizenship. And Stephen Whitmer, Indie Reporter in the YouTube chat, is absolutely right. Let's call it for what it is. This was a way for Diego to fundraise, quote, promises made, promises kept. Absolutely. It's another example of your money as a taxpayer being used so that this guy can stay in campaign mode 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Now, the U.S. Department of Justice is now sharing state voter roll data with the Department of Homeland Security. And the purpose of this is to identify and remove non-citizens from voter rolls nationwide. So my question is, if we're doing it on a state level, why do we have to do it on the federal level as well?
Right. And again, it doesn't because it's all the same grift, Casey. It's all a part of the same thing. If you had if you want to solve the issue of voting integrity, a national voter ID law where every state is required, you're required to show, just like to get in a bar or buy alcohol or cigarettes or get into a strip club or whatever else, right? Whatever adult activity that adults, participate in, are you required to show ID? It's ridiculous that we act like we don't know exactly how to solve this problem, and we got to go to the ends of the earth to pull this stuff off, where they can do these just ridiculous press conferences that are nothing but glorified campaign events for Diego Morales.
Okay, so the Indiana Secretary of State Morales, he confirmed Indiana did provide the full voter roll data, including some sensitive information. For example, part of your Social Security number.
Oh, boy. Hasn't somebody been screaming about the Indiana Secretary of State and the personal information that he has on everybody, which is why, Casey, when Diego Morales disappears to India for 10 days and won't tell you who paid for the trip, won't tell you what he did there, and we do know that his buddy Raju with the mysterious, what was it, $80,000 taxpayer-funded contract that they won't tell you what he does there either for that money, is in India selling, or he's bragging about being in India, selling visa access on the same trip Diego's on, in the same place that the Indy Star reported Diego met with the mayor. Yeah, Diego, you want to root out corruption? Start with yourself.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the latest on Charlie Kirk's assassin, his connections, and how people are responding. You know how that's going. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough. What are you waiting for? Get started today with Boer Remodeling. Boer Remodeling customer Kathy had a bath remodel with Boer. Kathy, talk a little bit about your experience.
Our experience with Boer has been terrific. The process was so easy and seamless. When we decided to do a larger remodel of our first floor, Boer was the first company we thought of hiring.
And were you happy with the results?
The results are amazing, and we are so happy with our home and the work that Boer did.
Peter is another recent Boer Remodeling customer with a new kitchen. Peter, what was the best part about working with Boer?
We especially liked the active participation that we were able to have in selection of stone for the countertops. Really came out beautiful. The cabinets also came out very, very well.
The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. They'll guide you through the entire process. Start with a free consultation. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. That's BOOHER. BoerRemodeling.com.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus, get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease. 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Catch Emmer and Nigel live from the Fall Home and Outdoor Living Show this Friday from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Grand Park Events Center in Westfield. They'll be checking out over 200 vendors, home displays, and all the fun happening at the show.
Okay, we're going to talk about the most ridiculous brag in all of human history.
What's that?
I'm going to read you this post. This is the problem. We've entered a world because of the social media where everybody just needs to be seen at all times. You must know how important I am and how amazing my life is and how lucky you are to have me around. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read you this post someone that I'm friends with on Facebook made, okay? I was honored to be considered for a role at the White House, advancing through the competitive application process without outside advocacy or direct referrals. Last month, I ultimately decided not to move forward. It was a tremendous honor to be seriously considered on my own merit. So you didn't get the job. You weren't even offered the job.
Yeah, you applied for the job.
And in the middle of the process or beginning of the process or at some step in the process, you just said, I don't want the job anymore.
Right.
Or you were told you're probably not going to get the job, so you said you don't want the job.
Yeah.
And that's something we're bragging about on Facebook now, that I applied for a job?
So I went to usajobs.com, made a profile, uploaded my resume, and now I want to tell you about that.
Oh, but wait, Casey,
it
gets better.
Oh, good.
She posted the actual letter from the White House.
Oh, good. A rejection letter? Thank you.
Dear so
We're moving on to another candidate.
I should name this person because this deserves public shaming, but I won't. Dear so-and-so, thank you for contacting the White House. Your information has been received.
It will remain on file. Wait, no, keep going.
Your information has been received and shared with the appropriate office for further consideration. We appreciate you taking the time to write and also for your interest in working for the Trump administration.
Okay.
With best wishes, the Office of Presidential Correspondence.
Okay.
So at no point is there anything like, you're a rising star. We're so impressed by your resume. You'd be perfect for A, B, C, and D. We can't wait to streamline your process. Like, it's just, thanks for applying.
We sent it on to the appropriate office. Now, read that last line. Did she get a referral? Let me see.
No, I mean, hang on here. Now I got to pull this back up. The letter from the White House.
Yeah.
Okay. We appreciate you taking the time to write and also for your interest in working for the Trump administration. With best wishes.
Okay. I decided I don't want that job. Never mind.
But my point of this is where we're at in our society, where it wasn't even like I was the last person. It came to me and somebody else. You know, it could have been for janitor.
Right.
You don't even know what the job was.
Office of Correspondence, it sounds like.
But we so need people to see us and think we're important that now merely applying for a job is something we got to post on Facebook about because you made it through one round of interviews.
Was there an interview?
I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm trying to give this person the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Clearly they didn't end up with the job.
Right. Well, because they said no. I decided not to.
You know, Casey, I have an announcement to make.
Oh, do you?
I am withdrawing myself from consideration to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears when Ben Johnson inevitably gets fired by the end of the season, based on the first couple of games. But I want to go ahead and take myself out. It's an honor that the Bears would even consider me at any point. But I'm going to go ahead and remove myself from consideration of being the head coach of the Chicago Bears.
Are you sure about that? Because they may have the number 1 draft pick by the end of everything.
Didn't we just do that a few years ago? No. I just want to let everybody know it's an honor to be considered.
Uh-huh.
I'm withdrawing my name from consideration. I'm also going to withdraw my name from being an alternate at the Ryder Cup next week. It's an honor to be considered for that as well. And I'd also want to withdraw my name from consideration of being considered to be a part of Mike Braun's cabinet. I want to go ahead and withdraw my name from that as well. So there you go. It was an honor to be considered for all of those things. And I'm so pleased at how far I got on my own merit. I'm withdrawing my name from consideration.
I'm looking up the Chicago Bears careers right now to see what jobs are open, career opportunities. Ooh, click here. Okay. Now, here's the thing, Rob. You're going to have to create an account.
Oh, no. I'm already
Yeah,
out.
you're going to have to log in. They have currently building maintenance technician 2.
At Hallis Hall.
Hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
That's Central Time, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, if 8 to 4, that's 9 to 5 our time, which means I could make it back by like 9:30. I could be home each day at 9:30.
Pays $35 to $40 an hour.
That's not bad.
As a building maintenance technician, you will be responsible for supporting facility and equipment maintenance.
Wait, is that the only job?
That is the only job listed currently for the Chicago Bears.
Look,
careers.
if you got to brag about withdrawing your name from a job that you weren't even hired for, and you won't even tell me how far you got along in the interview process, what sort of job could that have actually been?
They just wanted you to know they were involved. I don't think the point was about the job. I think the point was about the politics.
These are grown-ass individuals doing this.
They want you to know that they're supporting the Trump administration.
All right, so Jim Banks said something over the weekend, and I think it was super gross, but you're the voice of reason, so I'll hand it over to you.
All right, we'll talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
There's something timeless about radio. It's where stories are told, ideas are shared, and communities stay connected. Our generation grew up with it, and we still believe in the power of tuning in. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe planning for retirement should feel just as familiar and trusted. That's why we're bringing real conversations and practical advice to the airwaves. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. for our Retire with Purpose Radio Hour, right here on 93.1 WIBC. We'll talk about what really matters in retirement, income you can count on, choices you can feel good about, and a future that reflects your values. Because some things, like good planning and good radio, never go out of style. Howard Bailey Financial, retirement planning that speaks your language. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com. The Retire with Purpose Radio Hour is a paid placement on each airing station.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
When you call, text, or chat 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline,
you'll talk with a trained specialist prepared to help anyone
experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis.
But the help 988 offers doesn't stop there.
They can also connect you to people and programs in your community
who will offer mental health assistance without judgment
and help you successfully navigate your everyday life.
Call, text, or chat 988. Chat.
When you need someone who gets you, they got you.
At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you'll talk with an oncologist within 48 hours of your diagnosis, so you won't have to wait to start finding answers.
They got me in pretty quickly to meet my team. They gave me the plan and what they knew and what they wanted to do. I was really impressed with the care team and the approach they took.
Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
And 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, when university students are remembering about Turning Point founder Charlie Kirk following his assassination. What's happening to those who have mocked Kirk's death here in Indiana? For a cause in Indianapolis, what local businesses are doing to spread the good word, and the Colts sweeping their home games this month to start the season. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
They have DNA evidence and more. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting.
And FBI Director Kash Patel also tells Fox it was left
in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note.
As for the DNA they found, Patel says it's on a towel the rifle was wrapped in and on a screwdriver found on the rooftop from where Kirk was shot and assassinated at Utah Valley University last week. Fox's Garrett Tenney's at the Utah County Jail, where Tyler Robinson's being held and not cooperating.
We have learned that Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin also sent a text message to a different individual saying that he had an opportunity to take Charlie out and that he was going to do it because he hated what Charlie stood for. So this is part of the investigation now, looking into who knew what and when. And as part of that, we've learned the FBI is investigating left-wing groups in Utah to see if they knew about the accused killer's plans or provided him with any kind of help.
Robinson's first court appearance is tomorrow. Ryan Ruth's in court now in Florida as his federal trial resumes 1 year to the day after Ruth was arrested and charged in the second Trump assassination attempt that was thwarted at a golf course in West Palm Beach where the president, then a candidate, was playing. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in Israel, again calling for Hamas to release all the hostages.
Hamas can no longer continue to exist as an armed element that threatens the peace and security, not just of Israel, but of the world.
Rubio will next visit Qatar, where there's a lot of anger at Israel for last week's airstrike in Doha, targeting Hamas leaders as Qatar was mediating ceasefire talks for Gaza. A TikTok deal may soon get done. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says it's between TikTok and a private company ahead of a deadline for TikTok to cut ties to a parent company in China or be banned. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How Indiana students are reacting. You've got a sunny sky with a clear radar, 70 in Circle City, the high around 87 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. This report brought to you by Moss Roofing. It's 10:02. Students at Indiana University say Charlie Kirk's death has influenced how they approach political discussion and personal belief. Ryan Hedrick reports.
About 300 people gathered at Indiana University's Alumni Hall Sunday to honor conservative activist Charlie Kirk 4 days after he was assassinated in Utah.
You have so many conversations that can't be done peacefully. He changed it. He invited people to be polite and respectful.
Terrence McGoldrick, a graduate student at IU, said he had just bought tickets to Kirk's planned visit to IU next month. The event also featured Attorney General Todd Rokita and Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Staff Attorney Hallie Denis from the Indiana Department of Child Services among those fired for making inappropriate comments about Charlie Kirk's death. The agency fired her for what she posted to Facebook about his assassination, with the agency saying her comments were made in poor taste. Ball State University says they're reviewing posts made by two of their employees that were amplified on social media that could get them fired. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita is encouraging Hoosiers to report any educators or administrators who have made insensitive comments about Kirk's death, stating that they should be held accountable. Buildings across central Indiana are lighting up green this week to raise awareness for youth mentorship. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Indiana is running its Paint the Town Green campaign to spotlight the more than 1,000 kids waiting for a mentor. Major landmarks like the Bottleworks Hotel and Indianapolis Motor Speedway are participating through September 20th. Coming down to a walk-off field goal by Spencer Schrader. That's how the Colts beat the Broncos 29-28 Sunday inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Head coach Shane Steichen says it was a hell of a way to end a competitive game.
Great, gutsy, gritty team win. Great performance, some things to clean up. But to get two back-to-back wins at home in front of our home crowd, the atmosphere out there was electric. Crowd showed up. It was awesome.
Daniel Jones threw for over 300 yards. Jonathan Taylor had over 200 yards of total offense. The Colts will head to Tennessee next Sunday. And the Indiana Fever are now down 1-0 in their playoff series with the Atlanta Dream after losing 80-68 in Game 1 Sunday. Tuesday will be Game 2, which will be in Indianapolis. The Fever have to win in order to stay alive. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
The kids are heading back to school, and let's be honest, you're finally getting the house to yourself again, which makes now the perfect time to take care of that roof, siding, or gutters you've been putting off. And Moss Roofing is here to help. Moss Roofing has been helping Central Indiana homeowners for 34 years. They're family-owned, locally rooted, and known for doing things right every single time. Free inspections, honest advice, and top-quality work on roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. They treat your home like it's their own, and they clean up like they were never there. That's why they've got great reviews and a loyal following of happy homeowners. So don't put it off any longer. Let Moss Roofing check your roof, your siding, and your gutters to make sure they're ready for the winter ahead. For your free inspection, call 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Douglas Mini Splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Question.
Yes.
Is using someone's death to further a political agenda any less gross than the people who are celebrating someone's death? That's the question I want you to ponder. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, before we do that, we want to kind of get everybody up to date. There were so many moving parts over the weekend, stuff that was coming out. And just in case you haven't been paying attention, we wanted to get you kind of up to date on where we are in regards to the capture of the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk. We've kind of learned about him and some of the interesting details that are really beginning to emerge.
Mm-hmm. So you've got Tyler Robinson, who it's being reported that he is not cooperating with the investigation. However, his roommate is.
So that is the alleged shooter. We will say his name that one time. We will not say it again the rest of our program today. We just wanted to set up who we were talking about. So the allegations that are coming out is that the shooter was in a relationship with a transsexual or someone in the process of transitioning. You'll have to excuse me. I'm not as familiar as I should be with the lingo and phraseology, but this is a person who allegedly was in the process of transitioning from being a man to a woman, or at least in their mind, they believe they were going from being a man to a woman, and these two were allegedly involved in some sort of relationship. Now, what's not clear is, did they just start out as roommates and then it became a relationship? Or did they enter as a relationship, but they were sharing a residence together? And what is also beginning to emerge is that this partner to the shooter is fully cooperating with the authorities, which I think it was the New York Post and the Daily Mail were reporting that the partner became aware of the shooter's involvement from the authorities, and from that moment forward has fully cooperated. So it does sort of raise a bunch of interesting questions, which, look, it will all come out eventually. But if the partner wasn't on board with what was going on, did this individual just act of their own volition? And if the partner, if indeed you believe the reports about the full cooperation with authorities and that the person was totally, surprised and very taken aback when they learned that the shooter wasn't allegedly involved, what was this person doing it for? What was it all about?
Mm-hmm. We're also learning that there were some conversations on social media. And are there more people involved with this?
Yeah, the reports coming out, it was Discord is the app that was allegedly used, in which, according to, again, multiple outlets, that the shooter, once the pictures surfaced, the shooter was in some sort of group chat and people were saying, hey, that looks, jokingly, right? Never thinking that it was actually him. That, hey, that person really looks like you, and the alleged shooter was actually playing along in the
saying it was his doppelganger.
Yeah, in the chat, etc. So very interesting, because I think the prevailing wisdom is, hey, Charlie Kirk was assassinated because of, especially when they found out that this guy was allegedly in this relationship with a transgender, that, hey, he was killed because of Charlie Kirk's views on transgenderism. But it doesn't sound like, from what the authorities have been able to piece together so far from this transgender individual, or the person in the process of transitioning, that they wanted this or were urging it to happen or anything related to that.
Yeah, and now the FBI director, Kash Patel, is going to face a congressional hearing, some scrutiny over his handling of the investigation.
Well, and I guess my question would be, okay, one, the FBI had no role in securing the venue in which Charlie Kirk was having this event, so we take that out of the equation. But two, yeah, he's going to probably get some heat over basically insinuating they had caught the person when they didn't, but they caught the guy in a day and a half. I mean, that's pretty fast. Now, he was turned in by, so it wasn't like the FBI, figured it out and surrounded the house and but it's no different than
had some help.
The Luigi guy, the guy, Luigi Mangione, wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
Killed the healthcare, was it United Healthcare CEO? They found him in a McDonald's.
Right.
Somebody at the McDonald's turned. That's usually how this works. You get a picture out there. People see somebody that looks similar. They get, FBI, et cetera, gets thousands of tips. And in this case, people saw the stuff. That sounds like the partner was involved in, full cooperation. And, in the modern era, I think it would be very hard, unless you're a total professional assassin, hitman, whatever, to just blend back almost like a Jackal type character. For those Bruce Willis 30 years ago now played a character called the Jackal, which was based loosely on a real guy who was a highly trained international assassin. Unless you're that type of person, how long are you actually going to be able to hide in plain sight?
Right. That's the thing, the plan to get away has to be thought out.
So before we get to this question about if you're using Charlie Kirk's death to further a political agenda, are you as bad as the people that are celebrating the death itself? You have some audio for us.
Yeah, it kind of goes along with the answer, because you asked that question. Ask it one more time.
If you are a person who is using Charlie Kirk's death to further a political agenda, are you as bad as the people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death?
I think Kirk's death, it's really become a rallying cry for election redistricting and also broader political hardening on the right.
So do you have some audio that you want to play before we get to this conversation?
Yeah, because this is Stephen Miller, and he's talking about the last message that Charlie Kirk gave him.
Okay, so Stephen Miller is a leading advisor to Donald Trump. He's the deputy chief of staff at the White House.
And he says this is what Charlie told him.
And let me tell you something I've not shared with anybody, but the last message that Charlie Kirk gave to me before he joined his Creator in heaven was he said that we have to dismantle and take on the radical left organizations in this country that are fomenting violence. That was the last message that he sent me before that assassin stole him from all of us.
Okay, so why don't let's take a break, because I want to read you what Jim Banks, senator from the state of Indiana, said over the weekend. He had this big event, and he said there's very few things that I see anymore, because I know what these people are, and I know how they operate, and I've been around long. There's very few things that I'm actually taken aback by. But Jim Banks said something over the weekend that I found to be so ridiculously offensive. And so it sparks the question, if you are using Charlie Kirk's death to further a political agenda, are you as bad as the people who are celebrating it?
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The state of Texas can require voter ID for mail-in ballots. It's not required already. But Joe Biden got 82 million legal votes, Nigel. If you think otherwise, you might as well put the tinfoil hat on, okay? I don't think it's asking too much to have some sort of proof that you're a legal citizen in your mail-in ballot. Find a way.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
20 ribeyes for $35. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at 2 locations in Indianapolis going on now. 20 ribeyes for only $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Just look for the big truck. Also in the parking lot across the street from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Also on the big truck is cases of T-bones, fillets, New York strips, burgers, and a whole lot more. Big truck sale. Marinated chicken breasts too. Don't wait. Big steak sale at 2 different locations at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. 20 ribeyes for just $35. Don't wait. Everything must go. Big truck sale. That's 20 ribeyes for $35 at the corner of South Emerson and Thompson Road. Also in the Hardee's parking lot on Meridian across from Perry Meridian 6th Grade Academy. Get there before the truck is gone.
Are you ready for the biggest boat and RV sale of the year? The 36th Annual Indianapolis Fall Boat and RV Show. 3 days of blowout clearance pricing at the Indiana State Fairgrounds September 19th through 21st. But it's not a show. A sale. For 3 days only, shop over 5 acres of new and used boats and RVs. And this year, we're in the new air-conditioned pavilion. If you don't buy here, you'll pay too much. Dealers are liquidating their inventories, and after Sunday, they're gone forever. The 36th Annual Indianapolis Fall Boat and RV Show. Save time and buy tickets at IndySportShow.com. Another Renfro production.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show.
September 19th through 21st at Grand Park.
Shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted experts.
Tickets are $7 at suburbanindieshows.com.
Okay, so if we're going to condemn, which we should, the celebration of someone's death on the left, then don't we also have to reject it when that same death is used solely to further a political agenda on the right? That's the question I have for Casey now. It's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. And the reason I'm asking this is Jim Banks, who is a senator from Indiana, best known as voting for Kevin McCarthy 15 times when he was in the House of Representatives. He had some big shindig I think it was in Indianapolis over the weekend. There were a lot of big...
Yeah, it was the Hoosier Leadership for America Summit.
And a lot of big people there. We were not invited, Casey. No. For some reason, our names were left off the agenda list, and I'm both shocked and saddened by that. But Adam Wren from Politico also does a magazine called Importantville. Adam Wren, best known as the guy who once referred to me as the most powerful broadcaster in the state of Indiana.
Correct.
So clearly a guy operating with great judgment, said this, quote, "They killed Charlie Kirk. The least we can do is go through a legal process and redistrict Indiana into a 9-0 map." First of all, who are they? And what does that have to do with rigging Indiana's electoral maps for purely political purposes, which Andrew Ireland, state rep, admitted on our show. The governor has admitted on Hammer and Nigel. There's nothing wrong with our maps. They're very fair. They are representative statistically, basically, of the electoral system. If anything, they're already in favor of the Republicans. They're doing this for solely political purposes. What the hell does Charlie Kirk's death have to do with further rigging the maps in favor of a political party? And why is that an acceptable way to govern?
Okay, so as we played for you last segment, Stephen Miller was saying that the last message Charlie Kirk gave to him was to dismantle the organizations that are fomenting violence. So to me, it's a rally cry. It's something they can do as kind of like his final wish, because we do know that Charlie Kirk was very much pro redistricting of Indiana.
And that's fine. But first of all, who are they? Because I'm against redistricting. Who are they, and how do these two things come together? Because I'm vehemently against redistricting, because I know what's going to happen with redistricting. They're going to rig these maps to where they get two more Jefferson Shreve, Jennifer Ruth Green type people in these positions. Look at the makeup of the 7 Republicans that represent us in the state of Indiana and take an average of that. So it's office hopper Aaron Houchin, it's Rudy Yackham, it's Messmer, it's the new and less improved Marlon Stutzman, Baird. All just take a composite of these 7 people, put them on an average, and that's who your rep's going to be. And that means the establishment is not going to let this slip away. They're not going to let somebody they can't control get in there. So if you rig these maps, you're going to get 2 more Shreve, Ruth Green, Jennifer Ruth Green type people. I fail to understand, one, how that benefits me or any of us to have those types of people running our government, running our society, how that's going to make your life any better. But it feels really slimy to me that if we're going to criticize, which we should, and we're going to call out, which we should, people on the left celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. And by the way, I got no sympathy for these people getting their employers called or anything else. We always say society should police itself. The government shouldn't have any involvement in it. But if you're going to speak out on social media and you're in some position of prominence,
there are consequences.
You better get ready, because that's they did it to Rush Limbaugh, et cetera. So you should be ready for it on your side of the aisle. No sympathy there. But you cannot govern based on the whims or wishes of one guy. We've had all these people admit this is a purely political act. And the idea that if we're going to call out people who are celebrating this, if we're going to call out people who are taking glee in the guy's death, then somebody who's using his death to further your own political agenda, that seems equally as gross to me.
Yeah, his death has become a rally cry, not only for election redistricting, but for also, the toughening up on the right. For years, Republicans have been somewhat vilified for not fighting back against the left. So now that they are, you don't like that either?
Yeah, and don't give me this, well, we're honoring Charlie Kirk. No, giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom is honoring him. This is using him to better yourself. This is using him, his death, to better your desired political outcome. Who are they, Jim Banks? That's what I want to know, because I didn't have anything to do with this, and I had vehement disagreements with Charlie Kirk about bullying our lawmakers and trying to threaten them. Oh, I'm going to primary you. But I certainly didn't have anything to do with this. So who's they? Who are the they? Because right now we know one guy. We know one guy who killed Charlie Kirk, and at least from what we know so far, it doesn't appear redistricting had anything to do with it. It didn't appear some outrage from this guy over redistricting. Now, maybe that'll come out later. But it appears your vested interest now is to get the desired electoral result. And I fail to see how these two things correlate to each other.
So Kirk, before his death, he warned GOP legislators that Turning Point USA would back primary challengers if they didn't support redistricting. Is that still in place? Will that still happen? Now, there has been some resistance. For example, Representative Becky Cash and others, they say they're hesitant. They warn voters may not be there for a special session. And as of right now, Houston and Bray haven't taken any sort of formal vote or have said that they're going to have a special session.
I mean, doesn't it feel very usy? I mean, that's the word I keep coming back to. It feels very usy when you're invoking this guy's tragic, horrible death for a purely political operation, which is exactly what Andrew Ireland, to his credit, State Representative Andrew Ireland came on our show and admitted. The elections are fine. There's nothing wrong with our elections. They're very fair. They're already tilted in representation of the Republicans. And this was obviously pre-Charlie Kirk's death, but we're doing this for political purpose, or he wants them to do this for political purpose. Braun said the same thing. He's mad about Massachusetts. You cannot govern based on the desires of one person because you represent the entire state. You represent Democrats. You represent Republicans. You represent independents. And a lot of people, like I know this pains people to hear, but many people before his death either didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. I mean, we do, obviously, because we're in this orbit. Anybody who was involved in politics knew who he was. But the average person either probably didn't know who he was, or if they did, they had just a very cursory knowledge. You can't govern to disenfranchise those people based on the fact of, well, this one person tragically passed away. The person that is insanity in terms of how you're trying to run a society. And so it really, really bothers me that he's invoking this guy's death as a reason to rig the electoral system.
Okay, so Donald Trump, and this was during an NBC interview, he said he hopes the nation will heal, but then he went on to blame the radical left for unrest. Now, in regards to redistricting, guess who's coming? Guess who's coming to town?
Oh, to here? The greater Central Indiana area? Oh, who is it?
Pete Buttigieg.
Oh, wow. Nothing will fire up the masses like Pete Buttigieg.
He's going to return to Indiana this week to rally against GOP redistricting at the State House. And this is what he had to say. Kevin, it's number 2.
We're not getting the leadership that we need to bring this country together from the White House. And in order to turn the tide of political violence, yes, we have to reject those who commit political violence. Yes, we have to reject those who celebrate or promote political violence. But also, in order to deprive political violence of its power, we have to reject anyone who would try to exploit political violence. The response to this cannot be for the government to crack down on individuals or groups, not because of violence, but because they challenge the government politically. We need to have free and open political debate and a healthy political process in this country. And by the way, just like an overwhelming majority of Americans reject violence, an overwhelming majority of Americans, left, right, and center, believe that the government should not be cracking down on its political opponents because they are political opponents, not in the United States of America, not ever.
Okay, so this is the question that I will continue to ask any person who is all in on this redistricting and now believes that we should utilize the death of Charlie Kirk to promote the agenda. The Republicans control everything in Washington, D.C. right now. The House, the Senate, the presidency, the Supreme Court. They have it all. If you're unhappy with the position of your life, and by the way, they had it in the 4 years pre-Biden too, right? And by the way, they also had a big portion of the government the final 2 years of Biden, which was the House of Representatives, which means they controlled the money, which means nothing could have happened without Republican consent. So basically, of the past 9 years, 7 of them, the Republicans have had some major control over the federal government. If you are unhappy with the condition of things, You need to start looking at the Republican Party. I get that's uncomfortable. I get that doesn't make us feel good because it's easier just to pick an enemy so that way we don't have to own what's going on in our own camp. But you need to start looking at the Republicans, and you need to ask yourself if they've blown it time after time after time after time. If they've lied to you time after time after time after time. If they haven't followed through time after time after time after time. What does giving them 2 more seats in Congress when you know it's going to be Jennifer Ruth Green, Jefferson Shreve type people? Are you willing to sell yourself out for that? How many times do these people have to screw you before you say, we're done, no more? How much are you going to continue to buy into this stuff, which is designed to get you ginned up, to make you think that what is happening in front of you is not what's actually happening, that it's never their fault, they're never accountable? How much do you have to give them before you finally say, enough, I'm done with your games?
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Keeping his mouth shut. Sunny skies, 74 in downtown Indy. The high today will be 87. I'm Jared Lewis. It's now 10:30. The 22-year-old man the FBI says fatally shot conservative activist Charlie Kirk on Utah Valley University's campus last week is reportedly not cooperating with authorities. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino joined Fox's America's Newsroom with claims there may have been warning signs before the attack.
There were people in his network, friends and family, who had stated that he had become more political, that he had become, at some parts, I believe some of his coworkers had stated that he had kind of detached himself when the topic of politics came up and walked away from them.
The suspect, Tyler Robinson, is set to appear in court Tuesday. He faces aggravated murder and other felony charges. The Trump administration is filing an appeal to allow the firing of Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook after a federal judge ruled the firing was likely illegal.
Lawyers for the Trump administration say Lisa Cook's argument for why she should keep her job is meritless. The admin filing a request for an appeals court to allow Cook's firing as the Federal Reserve is set for a high-profile vote this week regarding interest rates. Cook is facing allegations of mortgage fraud, which she has repeatedly denied. And the Fed governor's legal team has argued the president's push to fire Cook is unprecedented, that the White House and Fed are supposed to remain independent of one another, and that the Trump administration has not shown enough evidence for the termination.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem during his trip to the region. The secretary says Hamas cannot continue to be the governing body in Gaza.
Hamas needs to cease to exist as an armed element that can threaten the peace and security of the region, and the people of Gaza deserve a better future, but that better future cannot begin until Hamas is eliminated.
The meeting comes as Arab and Muslim leaders condemn recent Israeli attacks on Hamas leaders in Qatar, along with Israel's intensifying bombardment of Gaza City. More than 65,000 Palestinians have been killed since the war began. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus, get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease, 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions.
Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible?
Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T.
The testosterone booster?
Yes, it really works. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results.
I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week.
Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with Nugenix Total T, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference in the bedroom. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text HEFTY to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's HEFTY to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Heat and cool your man cave, attic, garage, or bonus room without adding ductwork with Mitsubishi Electric ductless mini splits.
To find out more, just go to absolutecomfort.org.
Okay, so we've got some big stuff coming up this week. I want to tell you about a little bit of it here for just a second. It's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. We have something potentially massive coming up Thursday. We hope to be able to tell you about that tomorrow. But tomorrow, we're going to have a fun little back and forth.
Thunderdome.
So, friends of our show, Jacob Stewart and James Briggs, who are columnists at the Indy Star, they are at odds on this proposed data center in Franklin Township. They've both written lengthy pieces about this big Google data center that has been just, I mean, it's sparked so much emotion in Indianapolis, and it appears the city county council is on the verge of spurning the mayor and voting this thing down. September 22nd is the date, right? And these two guys who work for the same company.
Right. Both writers at the Indy Star have differing opinions.
Yeah. And I thought their pieces are very interesting. And we were talking in our meeting last week about, hey, wouldn't it be interesting to have these two guys on? And for once, we're just the refs, right?
Exactly.
And I thought it'd be interesting because they both live in Indianapolis. To see these two people go at. Not go at, but I mean, have a spirited back and forth on these data centers, and they both agreed to come in and do that. So we're going to have that tomorrow for you as part of the program.
Yeah, they both wrote opinion pieces on different sides, and James Briggs is why Indianapolis can't afford to reject Google's $1 billion data center. And it's kind of prophetic. He says in his opening line of the opinion piece, Indianapolis's fight over a Google data center feels like an epic showdown. Well, epic showdown is what we shall have.
So that'll be coming up, and we hope tomorrow to have a pretty big announcement for you. But so we'll get to that. I did want to say one thing, and then we got stuff that I think is super interesting about Trump and the pharma ads because that really could affect people. One of the things about this show, and Casey and I do this willingly, we believe you're mature enough to hear things you're not going to hear everywhere else. And we believe you're mature enough to handle things you don't necessarily agree with, because we think you can think it through. And ultimately, you may never agree with what we have to say. You may someday come around to it. You may agree with it in the moment. But our show is different from everybody else because we handle things in a manner that we do and take on the things we take on because we believe in you. And here is what I would say about politicians. They don't care about you. They don't care about your life, your well-being, your betterment. They care about themselves and their own power. And how many times just in a post-9/11 world have we seen the politicians utilize tragedy to their own benefit? Heck, we invaded a country over that, Casey, that had nothing to do with 9/11. And we were told at the time, if you questioned it, you were anti-American. If you raised your hand and said, I don't think Saddam Hussein had much to do with 9/11, why do you hate America? People got canceled. Entertainers got canceled for questioning the validity or the wiseness of the war in Iraq, which was ultimately proven to be a complete boondoggle. And we later found out that there were no weapons of mass destruction and that all that stuff was totally manipulated. So if they would do it on something like that, why would you think they would hesitate to use any tragedy or act of violence to their own political benefit? And in the moment when things are raw, it's easy to just judge things on emotion, right? I loved this person, or they meant this to me, and so I demand justice, and I can't get actual justice, so this is the closest thing I can get. And that's human instinct for a lot of people. But our job here, whether it's in times of happiness or sadness, tragedy, whatever, is to be the same people that we've always been. To present our show and make you think the same way we have always made you think, and that means telling you the truth. And so you can be, some people are mad at us today because we've questioned the wiseness of redistricting. We've questioned, we've called out people who appear to be using Charlie Kirk's death to better a political agenda or further a political agenda. And that's okay. You can be mad at us. But one thing, if you're honest with yourself, we are 9 to noon. We never change. And we are simply telling you what we have seen throughout the course of the history of this country, the recent history of this country. And you shouldn't think that if they would do it on all this other stuff, they wouldn't do it here.
You have to ask yourself, is it exploitation or is it honoring his legacy? Because I think people will see it differently.
Well, no, and I think the people, the rank and file, I think the subordinates, for lack of a better term, of this country want to honor the guy's legacy. What I'm telling you is the politicians, much of it is rooted in pushing a political agenda. And I don't know how many times you have to see them and their willingness to do that before you realize they do it with everything. There's nothing that happens in this country that the first instinct of these people is, how can it benefit me or my agenda or my career? And so, despite seeing it over and over and over again, if you want to be mad at us for pointing out to you that that's happened and it's happening here again, then that's okay. But 2 or 3 years from now, I'm going to remind you, if they go forward with this redistricting, and you get 2 more Shreve, Jennifer Ruth Green people in there, and your life doesn't get any better, I'm going to remind you about this. Because that's our job, is to be consistent. Not what's easy, but be consistent and keep you thinking. And we just think that the majority of you can absolutely handle that and are capable, even if you disagree with us, of still having that conversation.
Donald Trump, he signed an executive order, and this was aimed at increasing transparency and accuracy in direct-to-consumer drug advertising. So this is for mostly television stations. The order, it doesn't ban TV drug ads outright, but what it does do, it requires greater disclosure of the side effects.
So Trump wants to do this, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the same guy that fast-tracked the COVID shot, right? Now he wants you to have all the information. Mm-hmm. He used our money, trillions of taxpayer dollars, to fast-track the COVID shot. Now he's very concerned about making sure you know all of the risks and side effects. And by the way, he still won't come clean to this day on the risks and side effects of the COVID shot, and will still tell you what a miracle it is. I'm supposed to believe now he's very concerned about the risks and effects of drugs and vaccines, et cetera.
So the administration, they sent some C&D, cease and desist letters to some major drug companies. They cited egregious violations in their ad content. Now, let's keep this in mind. TV networks, they earned an estimated $5 billion from pharma ads last year. Many media companies, they're heavily reliant on drug ads. I mean, if you watch any sort of TV, you know every other commercial.
And most of them are side effects anyway, aren't they? Like what side effects? I mean, it seems like a prescription ad. Half the ad is the guy reading quickly at the end of the ad what the side effects are, right?
Right. And when you hear all the side effects, you think, wow, maybe the initial illness is easier than the side effects.
Well, and this is what's fascinating to me, isn't your job as a free thinker, if you see an ad for something, they always say, ask your doctor about. Isn't that your job to then say, hey, I saw this ad on TV, I've got, I'm just making something up here, arthritis, right? And this, claims to be great for it. Can you tell me more about this drug? And then isn't it then your job as the consumer to ask your trained medical professional, hey, what are the risks of taking this drug?
Have you ever gone into a doctor's appointment and asked about a medication because you saw a commercial for it?
Never, but knock on wood, I've thankfully been a relatively healthy person, much to the dismay of many. And I just I'm not, again, knock on wood, and very blessed by the Lord above to have been a healthy person through the first 40 years of my life, that I haven't really had the need to do that. Now I'm entering a phase where, who knows, maybe, you're starting to get the more creaks or cracks or whatever. But no, I have never actually asked a doctor to, tell me about that ad I saw on television, because if I'm trusting a medical professional, they're going to recommend.
They already know it's available.
Yeah, they're going to recommend to me, whatever they think is best, and then I'll ask them questions. I have certainly asked questions when I've been recommended a medication. Certainly.
Yeah, give me more details. What's this going to do? What are the side effects? So impact on media and advertising could destabilize media budgets, lead to some job losses in ad production, copywriters, directors, cinematographers. It makes me wonder what will happen to local TV stations if their share of the $5 million budget is gone.
Yeah, it is amazing how, because we saw this. What was the thing that Braun cut out? There was something.
The advertising with the Medicare.
Medicaid.
Medicaid?
Yes, it was Medicaid. Yes, you're right. And there's a big lawsuit with not just us. I'm saying like broadcasters across the state, because of the way they tried to enact the ban. The Indiana Broadcast Association, I think, was involved in this, and it dramatically hurt revenues of all, TV, radio, all these people where these ads were running that are, to best of my knowledge, still no longer in service. So, yeah, a major part of TV and radio is now, TV and radio and podcasting are these drug manufacturers.
So the drug ads, they have to balance being entertaining with some complex medical information, and some critics are saying that this just results in an oversimplified message. And what the administration says they want, the goal is informed patients, not fewer ads. But does that mean the ad will get longer and longer? Well,
but again, I just refuse to believe that a guy that fast-tracked the COVID shot and to this day won't own up to all the damage it did. Casey, would you like to tell us about your family in the COVID shot?
We've done that before many times.
Yeah, exactly. I find it hard to believe that he's very invested in getting all the info out there. But anyway, Hammer's going to join us next.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. We recap the biggest stories of the weekend. Guy Relford joins us, and WWE superstar Drew McIntyre. 93 WIBC.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Hey, September the 18th, that is this Thursday, there is a huge event going on at the Lucas Estates. Yes, that Lucas Estates. And let's face it, regular people like us, we don't normally get invited to the Lucas Estates, but this Thursday, September the 18th, is your opportunity to go and get a free breakfast. How about that? Not only get to tour a place you normally don't get to tour, but you get a free breakfast in the process. It's the Hope Starts Here breakfast, and that is our friends at Project Rescue partnering with our friends at Life Church to come together to stand about human sex trafficking. Again, it's totally free to attend, no obligation to give, and you get to see the Lucas Estates and get a free breakfast. To learn more about all of it, check out lifechurchin.com.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wealth Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back at the racing capital of the world. This sports car racing event, September 19th through 21st, is different than anything you've seen at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sunday the 21st, it's the TireRack.com Battle on the Bricks. And now the race runs 6 hours. The paddock is open for fans all weekend long. Infield camping opportunities make this a can't-miss weekend. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. Get your tickets at IMS.com.
So with all the choices of where you could buy your furniture and mattresses, here's why you should purchase your new Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers or Flex Steel Furniture, Tempur-Pedic, Sealy or Stearns and Foster mattresses, or Berlin Gardens and Pollywood outdoor furniture from Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Unmatched customer service during and after the sale. Have a service issue, they're just one call away. They deliver and set up for free if you live within 75 miles of their store in Columbus. Saves you hundreds. Family owned, worth the very short drive. ThompsonFurniture.net.
See a wreck on 465? Find a new pothole on your way to work? You can let Matt Bear know and help out your fellow travelers. Text WIBC to 317-239-9393 and join the text club.
That Colts money line was free money the entire way.
I live bet the Colts when they were down, and it paid off for me. A rare win this weekend for me.
Jason Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel show. Hello. Okay, so that guy who gave the game to the Colts, I mean, he had to probably walk back to Denver, right?
You know what? as we always say, Rob, water finds its level. Denver got so many calls earlier. They had a cheap touchdown given to them by 3 straight pass interference calls. One was legit, but the other 2, especially the first one, were ridiculous. That would have either been a field goal or a punt, right? So you gift Denver a touchdown. I'm not going to cry any tears over a leverage penalty on the final play.
Well, I mean, but it's a 60-whatever yard field goal, unless it's the Cowboys kicker. The idea that the guy's going to hit that is slim anyway. Don't you tell everybody just stand there? Just stand there and wave your arms.
Right.
I mean, don't do anything.
Don't do anything stupid, but some of these people can't help themselves. But listen, you're right. That was horrible clock management.
It was awful.
At the end of that game. And Steichen is awful lucky about that penalty because that was atrocious. And I couldn't believe it. I was listening to postgame show on my way home, and they had the press conference of Steichen. Rare sign of journalism from the indie media. The first 2 people were grilling Steichen after that game.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't see it. Obviously, you were at the game, but they kept showing the kickers like on the sidelines, and you just see in his face like, "What the hell are you people doing? You got to get the ball down there closer." Like you could get, like they were like running the clock out, so it was a 30-yard field goal, and he's like, the look on his face, like, "What is going on here? Throw the ball!"
You've got a good tight end. You've been moving the ball all game long. You don't need 30 yards. You need maybe an extra 5 or 10, right? The kicker's pretty good, but settling for a 60-yarder basically to try to win the game was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But luckily, Steichen got bailed out by that penalty.
Okay, so we've beat the Dolphins, who next to the Bears and the Saints, maybe the worst team in the league.
The most dysfunctional for sure.
Okay, so we beat them. And then we beat a quasi-playoff team. You know, it's like the barely get in type of, or just barely get out.
I think Denver's actually pretty good. That division is really good. They're in the hardest division in football. The Colts are in the easiest, right? That AFC West is pretty strong. Like, Kansas City is 0-2. I think they're going to be okay. We'll see the Chargers tonight. Denver, we think, is pretty good. Normally, defensively, they're real strong, but the Colts, they put it on them yesterday.
So that was my question. Are the Colts good?
I think they're good enough to win the AFC South, but maybe get beat in that first playoff game.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where the AFC South is, right? Whoever wins that division, you're going to play at 4 o'clock on Saturday at home and probably get sent packing.
So one of the little side hustles, we all have side hustles in this business except for Casey. She's very rich. But the rest of us that have side hustles to pay our bills because we chose a career of destitute and being destitute in radio is I broadcast stream high school sporting events on the internet, and one of the things I do is a weekly coaches show with one of my coaches. I asked him this the other day on the coaches show. How hard is it to be a head coach, like at any level? Is it 10 brain surgeon, 1 radio broadcaster? How hard is that actual job? And he started laughing, so we got a conversation like, could you pull a fan out of the stands and coach for a game? And how would they do compared to the regular coach? I find it hard to believe that, and I'm not saying this consistently, but I'm saying at the end of that game, a fan could have managed the clock any worse than Steichen did.
So game day is something separate, right? Because I've heard our pal Dan Dockich talk about this. What you don't see is all the crap behind the scenes, the scheduling, making sure the buses are there, making sure all this other stuff, your coordinators scheduling the meetings, like all of that crap. But just the clock management, boy, that was pretty bad by Steichen there at the end. I think there were some fans that could have done that. But, hey, 2-0, and now they go on the road to Tennessee. It's a divisional game. It's a road game, but I think it's winnable because the Titans have a rookie quarterback. Danny Dimes, how about this guy? Like, I'll be the first to admit, I apologize to Danny Dimes. He looks pretty good.
For now.
Hasn't thrown a pick.
Hey, what's coming up this afternoon?
So this afternoon, Guy Relford joins us, Monday Gun Day. WWE's Drew McIntyre is scheduled to join us, and Kevin Bowen will recap that game.
Thank you, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $300 into something bigger when you bet on money lines, spread, totals, player props.
$300 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Hey, the weather is all over the map, but one thing we know is fall is coming, and that means cooler weather should be here soon. And that means winter right around the corner. This winter, you want to stay warm in your own home. And one way you might be able to do that is replacing those old, drafty, or just plain inefficient windows. And now is the time to strike with Universal Windows Direct. Listen to this deal. For every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Whether you need 4 or 14, you only pay for half. And to make it even easier, you'll get 0% financing for 3 years, so no interest, no pressure. And last, but certainly not least, there's a bonus. $500 off your entire home improvement project. So let's review with Universal Windows Direct right now. For every 2 windows you buy, you'll get the next 2 free, 0% financing for 3 years, and $500 off your entire home improvement project. Now, some restrictions may apply, so to get all the details and schedule your totally free in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. Check them out on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Micro. That's pound 250, Micro.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Until 11/1, select models only.
In 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, how many people joined in prayer for Charlie Kirk at an Indiana university a few days after his death? Who IMPD says they arrested during a traffic stop and what the suspect is facing and what one organization is asking of the public in their mission to help young kids. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
The evidence is mounting. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Against the suspect in the Charlie Kirk assassination, DNA that matches Tyler Robinson's been found on the towel the rifle was wrapped in and on the screwdriver found on the rooftop from where the shot was fired at Utah Valley University. FBI Assistant Director Dan Bongino also tells Fox,
there's not going to be a stone left unturned if there was anyone involved who aided or abetted.
Robinson's due in court tomorrow, now held at Utah County Jail, where Fox's Garrettini reports he's not cooperating with police.
But officials say that other individuals close to the suspect are working with investigators, and that includes the suspect's romantic partner, a male who is transitioning to a female and who lived with the suspect in southern Utah. That partner is how the FBI was able to confirm the accused killer left a note talking about his plan to kill Charlie Kirk before the shooting.
A memorial grows for Charlie Kirk outside the Conservatives' Turning Point USA headquarters in Phoenix, where there was an arrest yesterday.
As a man showed up to the memorial site and appeared to walk through it, kicking over flowers and other items. A bystander eventually yanked him away, throwing him to the ground.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Phoenix.
Vice President J.D. Vance, who helped carry Kirk's coffin onto Air Force Two, says he's hosting today's Charlie Kirk show, paying tribute to his friend.
Today marks 1 year since the second Trump assassination attempt thwarted outside a golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida, where Ryan Ruth was arrested. He's acting as his own lawyer as his trial resumes this morning.
Already this morning on the stand is an FBI evidence technician who searched Ruth's car that he used to flee the scene. Now, she's presenting to the jury what was found inside, including his passport, license, bank card, 6 cell phones, and handwritten notes about flights to South America. Now, we are waiting to see if Ruth decides to cross-examine this witness since he passed on a couple last week.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol outside the federal court in Fort Pierce, Florida. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A large turnout for him. Skies are sunny. It's 76 on Monument Circle. The high, 88 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Nearly 300 people turning out at IU's Alumni Hall on Sunday to honor conservative activist Charlie Kirk, just days after he was shot and killed during a campus event in Utah.
You have so many conversations that can't be done peacefully. He changed it. He invited people to be polite and respectful. And so for me, he was just someone who changed the course of politics.
Graduate student Terrence McGoldrick told Wish TV he recently purchased tickets for Kirk's upcoming visit to IU, which was scheduled for next month. Sunday's vigil included remarks from Senators Todd Young, Attorney General Todd Rokita, and Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. IMPD says an 18-year-old man is in custody after being arrested during a traffic stop in Indianapolis for their involvement in a fatal 2024 shooting. The man had an active arrest warrant for charges of murder and robbery relating to the fatal shooting of 26-year-old Jose Hernandez on the city's south side. The shooting occurred during a robbery in October of 2024. And another suspect, Brittany Norton, was previously arrested and charged in that. The man, who was 17 at the time of the shooting, is now in custody. Big Sisters of Central Indiana is asking for the public's help. The organization's Paint the Town Green campaign is a week-long effort to find more mentors for the over 1,000 kids currently on the waiting list. Officials say having a mentor can help kids succeed in school and in life. To learn how you can become a mentor, visit BeBigForKids.org. Colts fans are seeing glimpses of some past teams who had success after the team has started the season now 2-0 with wins over the Dolphins and the Broncos.
And I heard fans around saying, this feels like it used to feel with Peyton and even Andrew Luck. We were scoring a lot. We were moving the ball a lot. I know it's only been 2 games, but so far, Daniel Jones is looking good.
It's the first time the Colts are 2-0 since 2009. They beat Denver 29-28 on Spencer Schrader's walk-off 45-yard field goal. They will next travel to Nashville to battle the Titans. And the Indiana Fever are back at home trying to stay alive in their first-round playoff matchup with Atlanta. They lost Sunday 80-68. Tomorrow's game tips off at 7:30 at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. It's a must-win for the Fever. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numbness, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Matt Schulke, chiropractic neurologist and board certified in neuropathy. What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is nerve damage in the feet or hands.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
Absolutely, and we get amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, pain, or balance issues, call Dr. Schulke today for a free nerve damage screening. This screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for their specialized treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 463-400-3338. Act now. Call 463-400-3338 for your free nerve damage screening. 463-400-3338.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Ductless Mini Splits dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Polling.
Yeah, there's a perceived importance of college education, allegedly, because there's this new poll that says that people don't think it's that important anymore. It has dropped to a new low. This is a Gallup poll. It's Kendall Casey, by the way.
Okay, so what does the poll say?
Only 35% of U.S. adults now say a college education is, quote, very important.
Yeah. Okay, so this stuff all sort of like culminated in, because I remember this. My mother was a high school English teacher. And in the 90s, they divided the kids basically into 2 paths, right? There was what they called college prep and what they called tech prep.
Yeah.
Which meant, hey, you're not going to a 4-year institution. Maybe you do a 2-year apprenticeship, whatever, right? And they prepared kids based on that. Like you sort of chose the path and then boom. And then somewhere along the way, they started almost like shaming you. Remember like the time I was in high school, basically it was unacceptable to not have some sort of college, part of your career path or whatever, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm sure that the education institutionalists, kept at it long enough that they got us thinking along those lines. And now, 25 years or whatever later, 25 years later, people are kind of wise to, hey, there's a lot of careers that are really good and pay a lot of money.
And you don't need a college degree for it.
That's right.
So right now we're sitting at 35% of U.S. adults who say that it's very important. In 2010, just 15 years ago, that number was 75%. So you've had a 40-point drop in 15 years.
15, okay, yeah, right, spot on. And that really, I think it's a mixture of things. One, I think people get into the real world and they go, hey, this degree isn't helping me. I mean, I could say this honestly. I have never used my degree.
Right, or people are working in an industry that has absolutely nothing to do with what their college degree was.
Right. I legitimately have never used my degree for anything. I got my degree because I was, and this is horrible, and I think people are wise to it. I would never do it now. But I literally said, there are so many people that I went to high school with who I am infinitely smarter than them, and I don't want them walking through life having some piece of paper that they can say, hey, look at how smart I am. Spite. My whole life, Casey. It's all been about spite.
It's a great motivator, Rob.
But I mean, I've never, in any interview I've never been on, ever been on. Now, granted, I haven't had a plethora of job interviews because I've either owned my own business or worked here most of my life. But I've never been asked for my diploma. I've never been hired or let go because of a diploma or lack thereof. And it was just a complete waste other than one or two classes I can think of. Casey, I took history of Jimi Hendrix as a 400 level course. I took the history of the Beatles as a 400 level course.
Now, if you're on a music station, that would come in handy. In fact, that information has come in handy on this show before.
But I could find all this stuff on the internet.
That's true.
It's not like, so my point on all this is that was just a complete waste of money, a complete and utter waste of, I think I was able to do the whole college thing for like $20,000. Good luck trying to do that today.
Right. That's barely one semester.
But I think that's also the other part of it is people are saying, now, wait a second. Okay, one, I'm seeing through my own experiences or the experiences of others where these college degrees aren't paying off. Or two, it's so expensive to acquire the degree. Why would I pay all this money for something that's not going to pay out over time?
Yeah, I don't want that debt going into my life. Okay, so there are three different groups. Parents of children who are under 18, college graduates, and then non-college graduates.
Say those groups again.
Parents of children under 18, college graduates, and then non-college graduates.
Okay.
So out of the three different groups, which group do you think said college was very important the most?
Parents of kids under the age of 18, college graduates.
And non-college graduates. Yeah.
Parents of kids under the age of 18.
No, it was the college graduates.
Oh, was it? Well, I thought they would be the people who would see the most. Like, hey, this was a complete
Parents of children under 18 was in second. 38% said college is very important, and 21% said, no, it's not important at all.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'd seen the quote from one of the Kardashians of all people that was saying the same thing, that basically college is, kind of a overrated or whatever phrase she was using. And I said, do we need to think about, not that the public education system will ever allow their stranglehold to be in any way, released, but would it be better for kids if starting at a certain age, whether it's, junior high school or whatever, saying, hey, find these, 5 areas, we'll still teach you some core competency, how to add, how to subtract, how to write sentences, things like that. But most of your time is going to be spent, find these, there's 5 days in the week, find these 5 areas that you're interested in. And every day you're going to spend time in those fields learning the trade rather than learning a bunch of stuff that you're just simply never going to use.
But do you think that college offers more of a well-rounded education? Do you see a problem if you're focusing on just these 4 or 5 areas and then you get in that area, and then you're like, yeah, this isn't my thing.
What do you need? But that's what people do with college all the time. How many people get a degree in, I'm just making something up here, education? They're like, man, I really didn't want to be a teacher.
Right.
So it's and there's all sorts of fields.
But they just use that degree to pass HR.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're using that degree to say, look, the well-rounded stuff. The reality is, in our society, we're becoming more and more specialized. You don't need to be well-rounded. If you're a plumber, you don't need to be able to
have art history.
You don't need to know Tolstoy, right? Like, you need to know how to fix the toilet or the sink. And basically, I mean, we talked about this when we got anything with the Kardashians a few weeks ago. I feel like by junior high, well, not exactly what I wanted to do. I sort of start forming your interests, like these things. And if you choose 5 fields, then one of those is probably going to work out, right? You kind of get an idea where you're at and where you want to go in life. And it may be a way for you to see very quickly, hey, this just didn't.
It's not my thing. It's not going to work out. Right. Yeah. So you may have seen some Be Civil signs popping up around Hamilton County. This is part of Project Civility. It's a nationwide initiative. The project was founded by a Carmel City Council member, and he was inspired because he had some harsh interactions during a 23 re-election campaign.
What does that mean? He had some harsh interactions, like somebody said something mean to him or someone threatened him. Like, there's a difference, right?
All I have is harsher interactions.
Well,
I don't know exactly what went down.
Now we're getting, I mean, like, it's one thing to, somebody was, racist or, whatever towards me versus some guy was mean to me in a public forum. Like, that's a pretty broad, but anyway, go ahead.
So after the election, he was hosting the Civility event at the local library. He was expecting about 35 attendees, but 300 people showed up to it. And since then, Project Civility is focusing on softening public dialogue.
Oh.
And they're doing this through videos, discussions, and events.
Oh, good grief. All right. Let's address this, shall we?
Sure.
First of all,
respectful discourse.
We're a country that went to war over our disagreement with somebody. Okay? We are a country because we went to war over our disagreements with somebody. We also are a country that used to duel when lawmakers didn't get along. So I think we've come a long way in our civility over time. Now, obviously, there are people who act wholly inappropriate. But what does that even mean, civilly? Because every time I try to be civil with these lawmakers, they screw us. Didn't I try to be civil for an entire year with the Republicans over the property taxes? Didn't I try to be on my best behavior? Didn't I try kindness? How far did that get me?
Yeah, they say that civility means respectful discourse and recognizing the humanity in others.
Oh, good.
And they warned against viewing political opponents as villains. Now, they're going to be hosting a national civility summit in Carmel, and former Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels is among the scheduled speakers.
Wait. Tell me. Look at what they're doing to us. They are villains. I don't have to feel bad for in a peaceful manner telling them how rotten they are. That's what this is. This is a guilt trip. That if you're a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, now that's not enough. You got to feel bad on how you address your elected officials. I don't feel bad about anything. They work for me. If they don't like it, they can find a new line of work. It'd probably be best for everybody. I'm not going. I've never been arrested. I've never been had a photo in the post office. I've never anything. All I do is show up to this job every day, cut my lawn, trim my weeds, raise my child, try to, as best I can, integrate into decent society. And now I got to feel bad because I name call some politicians. It's never enough. There's always something I got to hear how rotten I am, Casey, and I refuse to do it. These people need to be name called. They need to be publicly shamed because they have time and again used their power, use their authority to rig the system in favor of themselves at the expense of us. See the guy who had the .283 blood draw, who got special treatment, the state senator, Mike Bohachik, that none of us got, and got to keep driving his automobile when he was so liquored up and inebriated that the Panda Express people had to sound the alarm on him.
Okay,
I'm supposed to feel bad for that guy? Get out of here.
What about the saying, though, you attract more bees with honey than vinegar?
I tried honey for a year, Casey. I had to deal with Governor Dementia Patient and all of his tomfoolery for an entire year. How did that work? I got lied to. That's how it worked. I got screwed over and lied to.
So the Trump administration is now requesting $58 million from Congress. This to increase security for the executive and judicial branches. This following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Funds are going to be primarily allocated to the U.S. Marshals Service for enhanced protection for the Supreme Court justices.
Okay, and that's fine, but the reality is none of that money would have prevented what happened to Charlie Kirk. The reality is if you're going to have an outdoor event, you are opening yourself up to all sorts of security threats that do not exist in indoor events. I'm not trying to be mean or callous by saying that. You could give them $1 billion. And look, they couldn't even secure, I mean, he wasn't president, but he was getting the same security basically as president. They couldn't even secure Donald Trump. What do you think, adding an additional guard to a congressman? If you're going to do an outdoor event, and again, I come back to when we had our property tax rally, they offered us the ability to do it outside, and we weighed in on what was best because we actually thought we might get more people being outside versus people having to come in and go through all the security and everything.
Mm-hmm.
There were many things, but one of the things we factored in was if the deal is indoors, we know that the state police will be able to more effectively secure the event and any crazy people that might arise. And we did have some disruptors, and they were dealt with very swiftly, and everything was super safe because you have to go through metal detectors. It's a more confined area, all of that sort of stuff. That's just the reality of life as Trump found out in a horrible fashion, and as tragically Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Outdoor events are just basically impossible to fully secure.
So the U.S. Capitol Police say that they expect to track more than 14,000 threats to members of Congress this year alone, which is a significant increase over previous years. And that's why they want this heightened posture. And, of course, the request is coming ahead of the September 30th government funding deadline.
Can we talk about this cop in Crawford'sville?
Yes.
I cannot believe this is not like a lead story on statewide news. Like, this is an unbelievable story, and I've heard nobody other than the local Crawfordsville County paper covering it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll talk about it coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1 day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Zillow ranking Indy number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to max your equity. I'm talking about real estate expert Mark Dietl. That's what Luke and Emma in Franklin did. They built their dream home. They needed to sell their old place to get the great price to pay for it. Mark Dietl made it easy. Multiple offers in the first weekend, closed in 25 days at the price they needed. Mark Dietl and his team came through big.
Mark Dietl is the best in the business, and he has the guarantee that backs it up. Mark Dietl is the only real estate agent that we recommend, and he guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price or deadline, or he will buy it. You pick the move date, no long-term contracts. That's what separates Mark Dietel. 755-4232 or go to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you'll find a team of experts on your side, all working closely to give you the guidance and support you need.
Everyone knew what every other doctor was doing. I didn't have to go to 3 different meetings. I didn't have to talk to them individually. You knew right there in the room. They came up with a plan together.
Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Well, who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 Accord SE for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake. Visit our showroom off State Road 37 today. Tax and title fees not included with approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends September 30th. See dealer for details.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show.
September 19th through 21st at Grand Park.
Shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted experts.
Tickets are $7 at suburbanindieshows.com.
Okay, we have to talk about this story involving this Crawford'sville former Crawford'sville police officer. I can't believe this is not a massive story throughout the state of Indiana.
Well, it may be after we talk about it.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
So the Journal-Courier, which is, I believe, the paper of record out there in Crawfordsville, which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, most people do. Crawfordsville is about 35 miles west of Indianapolis. You just get on 74 and go, and you'll run right into it in Montgomery County.
Mm-hmm.
So they ran this story about a now former Crawfordsville police officer, and basically the accusation is that back in March, he responded to a call.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, Micah Hatch is the guy's name.
Mm-hmm.
He responded to a call involving an abuse allegation from a child care provider. So this woman picks her kid up or comes home, her kid's got visible marks, scratches, whatever. So she calls
the police.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like this thing investigated.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, Micah Hatch,
the officer shows up.
Yeah, shows up, takes the report, takes all the information, and then, according to this article, basically, short time after, friends her on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and then starts sliding into her DMs.
Yeah, asked for her Snapchat username, and then began sending allegedly lewd and suggestive messages to her.
Yeah, and asking if she wanted to, implying he wanted to make content on OnlyFans with her,
Mm-hmm.
according to her allegations. And so you have this woman who has this serious allegation of abuse against her child.
Mm-hmm.
The cop who shows up then has all of her personal information, right? Because she's got to give all of that out.
Mm-hmm.
And according to her, his snap de facto reaction is,
Hey, baby.
I know.
You up?
I know what to do.
Yeah.
I'll friend her on Facebook and then start sliding into her DMs. This is outrageous.
He allegedly was sending some explicit photos of himself, some taken inside his squad car, made some sexual comments, and called her on Facebook Messenger, offered his personal number. And then this is where it becomes really serious. He implied that he had influence over DCS, where he had previously worked, and could help her.
Yeah, so think about, again, these are allegations, right, that you're in the position of this mother, which is, hey, I have very real concerns. My child has been abused. I do the right thing. I reach out to the authorities. The guy who comes in now is trying to, work his game on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're in a position of, well, if I don't go along with this, is he going to just
retaliate against me?
Right.
Or not help me?
What a horrible position to be in.
She said that she felt intimidated. She eventually blocked him and removed her son from their shared preschool.
Yeah, so this,
he had a child at the preschool that her son was at.
Imagine how.
And then she moved away.
Yeah, how awkward and weird that is. That you got to see this dude when you're going to pick up your kids.
Yeah. So the Crawford'sville police have turned the case over to the Indiana State Police, and apparently they have a detective now that is working on the case.
So anyway, I read this, and I said, I cannot believe this is not a bigger story other than just being mentioned in the local towny, newspaper. I'm not anyway. They did a fine job covering the story. I'm not in any way trying to disparage the Journal Courier. I'm just shocked that we here in Central Indiana the media outlets haven't picked up on this story. And it led me to ask you, have you ever been in a position where you felt someone was propositioning you or leveraging their power or ability to do something for you over you and put you in an uncomfortable position?
I was in a situation once where it wasn't a coworker or anything like that, but it was potentially a casting couch situation.
Oh.
So this goes back to the late 90s, and there's this big conference that I don't even know if it's still going on. It was held every year in Minneapolis for radio people. And I had just come off a big ratings book as my first time as being a program director. Now, I have to keep in mind, this is going back years. So used to be every radio station would have one program director. Now, one program director could be over multiple radio stations, or even you have one person centrally located in one city programming radio stations across the country. But when this happened, it was much smaller. So I was probably one of 4 females of 30,000 program directors.
Yeah.
And after this conference, I was at this conference, and at the end of the day, there were a bunch of people that were going into one of the suites, and they were going to be doing some cocktailing, and I was invited. And it was a room full of big market program directors and VPs of programming, and I thought this is a great opportunity to do some networking. When I entered the room, I realized I was the only female there, and it did not have a good feeling at all because there was alcohol involved. People were drinking, and I quickly excused myself from the room because they were like, hey, come sit down, talk to us about that great ratings book. And as I looked around the room and realized I was the only woman there, no, not doing this. So I quickly left.
Yeah, and one other thing.
But those are people that could have had leverage over my career.
Well, and the one thing that shouldn't be forgotten with this is, because the story obviously focuses on, hey, potential abuse of power, those sort of things. There's a kid at the center of this.
Right.
Who is allegedly, the mother feels suffered potentially some form of potential abuse, and you got to get to the bottom of that, and then you get subjected potentially to, or allegedly to, all of this other stuff as part of just trying to figure out, hey, what happened to my kid? I'd like to get to the bottom of that. So the kid, I feel like, kind of nobody's fault, but when you're talking about this story, it's so kind of sensational of his behavior that let's make sure the kid gets justice in the process, or justice for the child in the process as well.
Yeah, it also goes back to people just can't control themselves sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
It's Terry Stacy, and not too many locally owned businesses in central Indiana have been around 80 years. But Cardwell Do It Best on the south side has stood the test of time. Congratulations to Jeff Cardwell and Cardwell Do It Best, recently named 2025 Member of the Year by Do It Best. Autumn brings about whole new to-do lists, and Cardwell Do It Best has everything you need and even stuff you didn't know you needed, like extra keys. They make keys, including programmable keys and key fobs. Cardwell is your discount roofing headquarters, featuring dimensional roofing as low as $21 per bundle. And for the yard, find a full line of trusted lawn and garden products and Milwaukee M18 Fuel cordless power tools. Come celebrate 80 years strong at Cardwell Do It Best. Locally owned, community trusted, and always ready to help you do it best. 3205 Madison Avenue. Shop online where you'll find over 67,000 products with free shipping at CardwellHomeCenter.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Seeking strength during a difficult time. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Students at Indiana University in Bloomington are feeling the impact that Charlie Kirk left on their lives following his death.
Just hearing him be so proud of who he is and so proud of everything in faith really helped me get a closer relationship to God.
A vigil was held on campus Sunday night with around 300 people in attendance. IMPD says a traffic stop downtown helped close in on a 2024 murder case. An 18-year-old was arrested Sunday morning on charges tied to the fatal shooting of Jose Hernandez during a robbery last fall. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Indiana is running its Paint the Town Green campaign to spotlight the more than 1,000 kids currently waiting for a mentor. The Colts walking it off against the Broncos, moving to 2-0 for the first time in 16 years. And the Fever are in a win-or-go-home situation for tomorrow night after losing to Atlanta in the opening playoff game Sunday. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade? Your career. Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more, December 4th, Cambridge Fieldhouse. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss this season's most exciting concert experience. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wells Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
Heat and cool with nearly geothermal efficiency in places you can't fit ductwork with Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits.
Just go to absolutecomfort.org. That's absolutecomfort.org.
Okay. I have no sympathy for the people who are getting fired because they said ridiculously offensive and stupid stuff on social media about the death of Charlie Kirk.
These are the consequences of being a jerk.
Well, right. So, look, if I'm going to point out that I think it's gross that people like Jim Banks are using Charlie Kirk's death to further a political agenda, we're also going to talk about, on the other side, Matt Hiblin and I, our boss, were having this conversation during one of our breaks, and I said, you know, the problem with our society now is everything is so political, and it at light speed moves into it. You can't just be a measured person in the middle. Like, we hate all these people equally, right? Like, that's our slogan. We dislike all the politicians and all the political sides equally because we think they're screwing everybody. And so a measured approach is, hey, if you post something ridiculous on social media, which is gross if you're celebrating somebody's death, then, yeah, you can be and should be facing some ramifications for that, because that's how you handle your business and that's how you handle your place in society. But you can also at the same time say, I can think that, and think that people like Jim Banks are gross trying to politicize the death of Charlie Kirk to further a political agenda. Like, can't both of these things be true?
Some people are saying that it's very hypocritic. It's showing hypocrisy because Charlie Kirk was exercising his first right amendment when he was assassinated, but other people can't exercise theirs.
No. That's the mistake people make. Same way as you have the right to say it, but with it comes a potential punishment. I've long advocated for society to do just this: police itself. You don't need the government. You don't need government intervention. Society is policing itself, which is like this DCS person who went down. If you are going to say hyper offensive, ridiculous things, then you should be prepared that there's going to be some sort of blowback, or people are going to try to create some sort of blowback on you and your profession because you're putting it on social media. You're not thinking it in your head. You're not saying it amongst, quiet society, amongst friends. You're putting it on social media, which means you want the world to see it. And if you want the world to see something, then you're going to be judged by it.
I think the scary ones that I've seen have been the doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a position where you're not even conscious.
Yes.
And
that's why people are calling it out.
Yeah. That's scary.
I mean, it's one thing for the guy who works at the Walmart to have a position. Hey,
but somebody has your life in their hands,
right?
And they don't agree with your politics.
Right, absolutely. And so for these people who are looking for some sort of sympathy or trying to say, oh, well, the right hates cancel culture unless they've got the power. No, I've long advocated for all society to do this, which is the government doesn't need to do it. The government shouldn't be strong-arming Facebook to take things down or ban people from the platform.
It's a court of public opinion.
Right. And if you're going to be Billy Badass and put this gross stuff out, then there may very well be ramifications. It's like everything I've put on social media about this, I think Jim Banks is disgusting for what he said. And now ours is the show he won't come on. But if he wanted to come in, I'd have the conversation with him all day, every day about it. I can defend everything that I've said. Now, there's a difference between not liking someone's opinion, right? There's a difference between disagreeing with someone. So people may say, no, I think what he said was fine. Okay, but I'm going to tell you why I think it's gross what he did. And if somebody were to call my boss right now and go, Rob Kendall said Jim Banks was gross. Well, what did Jim Banks do? Well, he politicized the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm happy to have that conversation with anybody in Urban One or any other place. But these other people who are literally celebrating somebody's death, they're making light of it. They're making jokes about it. You better be prepared for there to be some ramifications.
Did you find that you curtailed your social media use over the weekend?
No. I think if you look at, I tweet storm the same stuff I normally tweet storm about.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've always said, like, especially now this applies to the elected office holder people. because this is the way I would want it, which is say the things about me in death that you said about me in life. That's why, like, when someone like John McCain passed away, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I think he was a great public servant. He was an incredible hero as a member of the U.S. military, absolutely 100%. And everyone should salute him and thank him for his service. But that was one part of his life. The other part was as an elected person, in which he was a pretty shady dude who allegedly did some pretty rotten stuff. And his voting record was not good for the country in many cases. I would be a complete hypocrite to have spent my whole life saying that and not talk about both of those things as the legacy of John McCain. But I wasn't running around doing a victory lap going, good, I'm glad he's dead. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a huge difference, between these things. And it's like a wake-up call maybe to some of these people on the left to recognize there are potentially consequences for your words. There are potentially consequences for your actions. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to put it on social media for the whole world to see, you better be prepared for the blowback.
There's been a lot of people, especially over on Blue Sky, talking about, who's next and scary stuff like that. I found that a lot of those people, though, aren't using real names.
Well, no, we see this all the time. Like, the people that are the meanest to us, and then we always chuckle about it in the YouTube, are always like egg photo or, fake photo, some unidentifiable name. And look, you're allowed to do that on social media, and if the platform sets it up, then okay, it is what it is. But new world where the right is not taking it anymore. And if you're going to be gross and celebrate some father and husband getting assassinated for doing nothing but having conversations with people, you better be prepared for some ramifications. Hey, you've been at me all day on this. I can't believe this, but you desperately want to talk about UFOs.
There's been 3 big stories that have come out about aliens, UFOs, UAPs. Let's talk about it. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the latest on Charlie Kirk's assassin, his connections, and how people are responding. You know how that's going. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
It's football season. The air is crisp, the stakes are high, and every winning team has one thing in common: a solid game plan. The same goes for retirement. You need a clear strategy, smart play calling, and a team who knows the field. At Howard Bailey Financial, we help you prepare for the long game, anticipating challenges, protecting your lead, and calling the right plays when it matters most. Because, let's face it, retirement isn't a pickup game. It's the championship round, and you don't want to wing it. Get off the sidelines and into the huddle. Text PLAY to 888-494-5004 to download your free retirement toolkit. That's PLAY to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial, because every great retirement deserves a game-winning drive. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. See disclosures at howardbailey.com.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations evaluations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Texas 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Tamara and Nigel to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Head online to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra Thursday, December 4th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Hey, slow down there, Fox Mulder. We'll talk about the UFOs. That's fine.
Oh, is there life out there?
Well, I mean, you said you came in breathlessly this morning. Oh, my gosh, Rob. There's like 9 articles about UFOs that came out over the weekend.
Life on Mars, Rob.
Oh.
Are there aliens out there? That's the question. So NASA's Mars rover, it uncovered rocks that were in a dry river channel, and they're saying that they may hold potential signs of ancient microscopic life. So we're talking about life on Mars in the past. And I don't know if you've heard about this. Many people are talking about 31 Atlas, this comet.
Oh, yes.
That this Harvard astros.
Great description, Casey. These, but what are we doing? What's going on?
Okay.
Is it that hard? What is happening?
Well, yeah, it is that hard because it's a comet. Or is it an alien spaceship?
Shouldn't they know? Don't we have a telescope that can tell us? I mean, wouldn't you be able to zoom in and see whether it's a comet, a fireball barreling towards Earth, or there's a bunch of little men driving a station wagon?
Or is it automated? It apparently has changed lights from green to red or red to green. It's correcting course, unlike what a comet could do. And then you have this congressman who showed that never-before-seen video with military hitting that UFO or UAP.
All right, what's your theory on the UFOs? You got one? You got a hot take? You got a well-thought-out hypothesis on what the UFOs actually are?
I don't know if it's well thought out, but there is the theory that now that we have entered into the AI technology revolution, are humans finally to the point where aliens are saying, okay, you're smart enough. Now we can make contact with you.
Well, it does come down to this, which is, can everyone be lying? I mean, there's so many people who have purported to see UFOs or had some sort of encounter with an alien life form. Can everyone be lying? I think that's what you got to ask yourself. Do you think that every person who claims to have had these encounters, every single one of them, well, lying and or wrong, right? Like I remember as a kid watching Unsolved Mysteries and seeing these people and going, Well, they certainly appear to believe this happened.
They believe what they're saying. Sure.
Okay, so, and then there's people that have all these, these sort of, after these encounters, these unexplained health problems or issues or things they didn't have before. People who, claim to hear noises that other people can't, all of these things. It's like, man, for all of these people to be lying and fabricating these stories up to and including health issues, that's a heck of a con.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it isn't all a con. I am saying, though, that is a heck of a seemingly non-coordinated effort.
Okay, so there's obviously a spiritual revolution in the country. You've got a technological revolution. And could this also be a humanity revolution all happening at the same time? Here's what I find is really interesting is the juxtaposition between artificial intelligence right now, right? You have some of the most complicated, precise accuracy on things, right? And look at drones and everything else. And at the same time, you have a callback to the oldest of teachings, talking about the Bible. So are the two are coming together at the same time.
Do you have a theory on aliens?
Well, I told you. I'm wondering if it's now with artificial intelligence and all of our technological revolution, our aliens watching us and now saying, okay, they're smart enough.
Well, okay. So
they've got the technology now.
Wait. Let's go down this rabbit hole here. So, do you think they're here among us so they see these things? Or is it like they have a super telescope from
far away,
the planet Nebar that they can see?
And they're watching us now.
How do you think they have the info that we have the artificial intelligence?
Yeah, because if they're watching.
But how do you think that's what I'm saying? Do you think they're are they, because there are theories that aliens, the men in black or whatever, that they walk among us. Do you think it's that, or do you think they're somehow doing super surveillance on this country?
Super surveillance.
Okay, you don't think they're actually out here walking amongst us?
No, I don't think so.
And what? There's some high alien who just said, okay.
Now's the time.
Do they have a president alien or a king alien?
Possibly.
Who makes the call?
Like the queen bee?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, what's your theory?
I've thought for years that, my old man actually had this theory when I was a kid, and I thought this actually makes a lot of sense, that they could be time travelers, that they're from the future, coming backwards. I'm not saying this is rock solid. I'm just saying it would make sense on why they can't be seen. That you disrupt the future. Obviously, if you disrupt the past, you've seen Back to the Future. You know how it works.
Right.
If you disrupt the
Can't
past,
affect the timeline.
Right. So that's why they struggle to be. That was always the one that kind of made the most sense to me. That in the future they have figured out some sort of time travel, and they can come backwards, and thus why they look so much different and are hesitant, if you indeed believe the descriptions, and are hesitant to be seen at any point.
Or is this all just a distraction?
Well, this is the other point, because here's the other side of this that I struggle with. Given all the technology that we have and all these supposed encounters people have had, how did we? Now, there's some people who believe Roswell that we have caught one, but how has an individual not caught one? I thought the same thing about Bigfoot. If Bigfoot were real, all these people who hike in the woods, all these people have been in the area, and nobody's provided other than grainy photos,
right,
or recanting of stories, or not recanting, recalling of stories. Nobody's provided definitive proof. Same with the aliens. None of these ships have ever just accidentally crashed, and then some, subordinate, some civilian got wind of it first in the modern era with the iPhones and everything else. So I'm still open to anything, Casey. I can be swayed.
Okay. Well, if they do come and they say, take me to your leader, who are you taking them to?
Whew.
Yeah.
Probably David Wood, our boss.
Okay. He's our leader here in the radio
station. They'll take one look at the radio industry and go, boy, you're right. These people got it pretty rough. Let's just leave them alone.
Let's leave these guys alone. I don't know. It's just interesting how all of these stories are all coming out at once. All right. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Zillow ranks Indianapolis number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize